Let's take all spiritual teaching, boil it down to a single principle, and have you experience it directly so that you'll feel it in your bones for the rest of your life, save yourself years of pain and suffering, and avoid the trap that almost everyone falls into, which is they hear it, they think they intellectually understand it, but they haven't felt it on a deep level, which requires some time, and then you'll know how to apply this for the rest of your life. So the principle is simple. The principle, if we were to boil everything down, is don't resist your inner experience. But first, you have to notice your inner experience to not resist it. You have to become aware. So you could become aware in this moment of your thoughts, which, if we're honest, are probably some form of subtle resistance or judgment. And you can just not resist that. You can choose to not resist the thought. You can choose to not judge any judgment, to just let the thought be there. As an experiment, just notice what happens as you make that choice. There's probably some space, some separation between you as the awareness and the thought as soon as you start doing that. And now you can deepen that and bring that down to the physical. Notice what you feel in your body. There's probably a subtle form of resistance, whether it's a sensation of boredom or flatness or numbness or restlessness or anxiety or whatever it is. Even if it's subtle, just notice it. And instead of succumbing to it or trying to escape it, see if you can just, now that you're aware of it, choose to not resist it. Notice what happens if you make that choice. If you just let it be there. Just say yes to it on an inner level. And notice what happens as you do. A little bit of space starts to open up around it. You're not bound up in it and trapped in it, subtly suffering in a way that you weren't even aware. But now, this is where it gets interesting. You can start to deepen that because there's layers to it. Most people only glimpse this briefly and it's not really deeply understood within. So just start to notice any subtle form of resistance that starts to pop up from a deeper layer. If it feels safe, just notice it, be aware of it, and just notice what happens if you choose to not resist it. Whatever you feel, whatever you sense, just relax into it, even if it's not a particularly relaxed feeling. Notice what happens as you choose to say yes to whatever comes up and start to get in a rhythm with it. Maybe normally you reject these things when they start to get sticky or uncomfortable, but when you really go deeper and say yes to all the layers that pop up, to choose to stop resisting whatever comes up on an inner level and get in a rhythm with that, you'll probably notice that that energy starts to dissolve even a little bit. It might be stuck, but it might actually be starting to dissolve. And as it dissolves and the space starts to get more spacious, you might start to notice feelings of peacefulness and joy and aliveness. Even if it's very subtle, you might notice it start to build. That's your natural state, starting to emerge like the sun poking through the clouds that are normally there all the time that we don't even realize because we're resisting without realizing, because that's our natural state. Or our default state. We could say the sunshine is the natural state, but those clouds are our default state. So the first step is become aware. Then when you're aware, you can choose to stop resisting. Then you can start to get in a rhythm with that inner yes, with that letting go of resistance. And then the suffering starts to melt more and more as time passes, as you get in that rhythm, and those good, peaceful feelings start to proliferate more and more. So practice that process on a daily basis if you want to recondition yourself into that deeper mode of peace and aliveness and joy. And you can practice using the letting go technique as well if you want to practice consciously in a structured way on a daily basis. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments.